Hey guys, today I will be speaking about the performance management. So what a textbook says and what are the challenges associated with it, what are the perspective issues, actions and consequences, and what are the challenges associated with it is the diversity in the goals and the production and the processes, geographical dispersion which is associated with the performance management, and also the things that are associated with the variations in the various modes of operations. What are the perspective issues and actions and consequences is that in the second slide there are some global strategies, there are some local strategies, what is the pattern of these global and local strategies, and how the performance management is. So if there is subsidiary, there will be a local appraisal. If there is a headquarters, there will be a remote appraisal. So from that will be defined what is the performance management for an individual employee. There are some critical issues like implicit and explicit issues, the payment issues, the developmental issues, and finally they will modify the individual outcomes, which are like the training and the remuneration and rewards, the career implications, as well as the training part, career implications, financial consequences. For the organization, what is the control, how the organization will get a control, what is the reputation of the organization, and what are the legal compliances. That will be most important. Then I will go for the what are the factors affect the expert performance. Like the factors affecting the expert performance, first is the reward and the remuneration package, is the compensation package, is the first motive for a expert performance. Second is the task. Task should not be done in isolation. Headquarter support is very necessary at every step because the expert is moving to a subsidiary not alone but with the family also. So host environment is also very important, and finally the cultural adjustment for the self as well as the family is very important. So the research is not telling us anything about how to explore the success and the failure of a public organization and how it influences the decisions. So what is required for a manager to make a successful decision and how much risk he should take? What is the integrated performance management? What is the approach for that? These things are not discussed in the textbook. These are from my the research. So if I will go through the research says that if an organization is performing very good or if an organization is performing very poorly, the managers are more likely to innovate and empower the employee. But if the organization is performing marginally well, then in that case, the managers are more reluctant. They do not want to take the risk. They are more risk averse. So what are the valuable lessons for the managers? First is there are always some major risk associated with the performance management. So a right information, a right flow of information is very important. If there is a risk associated, what are the we have to do the investigation rather than we should ignore the risk. So the major risks are there. We have to investigate the risk and do not ignore the risk. And then we have to do a constructive dialogue, like what is the risk and reward benefits. Then the flow of information right from the scratch, right from the people who do not want to share their information to the stakeholders. And this information should be transferred to the managers, which will help them in making a superior decision. Then so the most important thing is the right to access to right information for the managers for making any decisions. The financial firms who have destroyed or who have vanished due to some crisis, due to some problems in their steps or processes, they have an excellent valuable information for us. They have excellent source of information for us. That is most important. So we have to consider those financial firms who have destroyed. We have to take a lesson from them. What are the risks which could prevent our agency from achieving our objectives? So if I am having an organization or an agency, what are the risks? So how can I evaluate that risk? So the answer is ERP, Enterprise Resource Management. Enterprise resource management, the risk officers are taking the information, the risk, which risk is more important, which risk is less important, and they collect all the information from the silos to the stakeholders. I mean to say from those people who are not willing to give the information to the stakeholders, to our shareholders, and this all the information is transferred to the top managers. The top manager is getting the information, and with this information, the top managers are prioritizing which risk is more important and which risk is less important. When the information has been prioritized, Then we are allocating the resources, our fund, our laborers, our implementation. Everything has to be jointed. Everything has to be allocated to the associated information. When they are getting the completed information, then it will reduce the managers to make a bad decision. Because if I know what are the risks, if I know how can I implement that risk, how can I associate that risk with the available funds and the labors and the resources, I can make a very superior decision in that case. So what is the approach? First, we have to do a goal setting. Then we have to prioritize our work, prioritize the risk, routine measurements, periodic evaluations, whether we are performing better or not, what are the data available to us, what is the well-designed communication, well-structured incentives, whether the incentives are being paid to the workers or the employees at a regular interval of time or not time, how the incentives are being structured for the employees, for the expats, for the PCNs, TCNs and SCNs, and what are the possible outcomes. Outcomes for the corporate also, like the legal compliance, the control, and all these things for the individual also. What are the career implications for the individual, what are the financial performance, financial consequences, and what is the training for the individual. So integrated performance approach is very important when we are doing the performance approach with the integration of all these like settings, all the settings you have to focus, like in an integrated fashion. Integrated performance management puts great emphasis on the collaboration between the resources, whatever the resources are available to us, and what is the budget available to us. So what is the budget management function and what are the resources? We have to put a collaboration. We have to help each other. Joint approach is very important. If the agency has formed a goal, they have prioritized a goal. We have to achieve this goal. And now they are trying to implement it. So there should be a joint approach between the implementation of that goal and the prioritizing of that goal. And that is very, very valuable for the performance of any organization. Agile project management. These are the project managers who are giving high priority and high quality work. They are giving a high priority and high quality work. So this giving of a very high quality work and doing it a high priority is actually catalyzes the whole process of performance management. It boosts up, it catalyzes the performance management process. Now, what is the process? Process is that first we have to choose a few priority goals. If you are taking a large amount of goals, we will be confused. We have to choose a few priority goals that should be clear, that should be focused. Then we are breaking down all these goals into smaller modules, because smaller modules, they in breaking down we can ensure success at every stage of the process, because we have only a few modules. We have to focus only on those modules, and that will add incremental value to the shareholders also. When the incremental value has been added to the shareholders, that will be a very valuable information for the organization in the performance management. So we got a valuable information through this process. What are the conclusions? For implementing any goal, first thing required is effective sponsorship. The top managers should be very effective. Second thing is the integrated approach, like integrated for the agile management principles. Excellent flow of information from the silos to the stakeholders and then to the managers for prioritizing the risk. And finally is the enterprise resource management. Enterprise resource management, as I've discussed, is a very important part for for the success of any organization for performance management. These are my references. Thank you so much.